if I stay in the bed, am I,
No.
does the time still pass?
I'm not sure. If we're both in here, the time might stop. We just both lay in bed. This is a little weird. No, it's going. It's a great beginning of me waking up in your bed. Kind of awkward, but it's fine. All right. So I guess we're back now for episode, what is this, 4, Jessi? I'm not even sure anymore. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And last episode, we were able to successfully make a ton of money during all of this, and now we both have our backpacks. I think that was like the #1 priority. And look, all of our potatoes came about.
Talking about Postman wasn't the #1 priority.
It became the #1 priority by the second half, because once I get going about like, you know, the extended Costner verse and all that was happening, and how much of an effect that made on my life at the time, you know, it's natural that I'm gonna.
And continuing to this very day.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, they just don't make them like they used to. But it definitely was good that that the guy started to make other movies that were a little bit more curtailed. As you were asking me earlier, it was like, have you seen Open Range? And it's like, yes, he's...
Is this thing ready, or do I need to water it?
You need to water, or press X on it. No, it's like, yeah, it's just one cauliflower. Now look at this. We are totally out of seeds. So I'd say it's 10 a.m. Why don't we go and buy like a bunch of, what do you think, potatoes and parsnips?
Yes.
Yeah. One thing that had recently come
You're
up...
so aggressive with foraging. I can't get anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm also leading the drive, and you always walk up and hit it with square. Right?
I know. I don't have like the greatest grasp at the controls of this game yet, but
yeah. Well, you're only a few hours in. But
that actually makes it sound worse. Like I should have this by now.
Well, what you're doing is you're drawing from all your Harvest Moon, you know, history, and you played some of the Harvest Moons after that I never got to play. Oh, it's closed on Wednesdays? Are you kidding me?
No.
Well,
let's go to the bar.
Okay, it's pretty early for everybody to be at the bar, but let's say
Pam will probably be there at least.
I think Pam will be at home.
Or we can forage. Is there?
Yeah. We can go forage in the forest. What do you think? Oh, we need salmon berries too. Make sure you get all the salmon berry. Come with me to the south. We'll go check the forest out. But no, that whole rant that I went on last time was fun. But it like, I think that I definitely could have expanded a little bit more on some of his other movies, because if we unfairly
like the Bodyguard,
yeah, you're right. There's like, he did a lot more out there. Like, you know, the guy was like successful in his own right, and I feel like we gave him.
Let's not become like apologists for Costner.
I know, but like once you lay on the criticism so thick, you just can't help but wanna, you know, bring it all back. That's why when we were talking earlier, when we obviously didn't have this recorded, but I was trying to tell Jessi had not seen the whole Hatfields and McCoy miniseries that Costner did with Bill Paxton shortly before Paxton's death, and it's like, there is a redemption arc here that you could be getting something from, that, you know, that's not Postman or Waterworld, where like it suddenly like the quality is kind of back, I would say. You know.
But those films are like what endears me to Costner.
No.
I don't need him to be good, just be unhinged. That's what I like.
Okay, well then from that angle,
you know?
You probably don't need the quality.
No, I don't need the quality.
I guess I just want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and have everybody have a chance at the redemption arc. And
he didn't need redeemed for me. I already thought it was awesome.
Okay.
Not everybody is so like enthusiastic about their weird inner desires or whatever. Like, I don't even know how to explain like his screenplays, but
Well, I was just looking
The
up
like
casually.
power fantasy, the overt like male power fantasy that.
And it doesn't look like there was like a ghostwriter or anybody that could have potentially helped to avoid falling into those tropes. And I
It
think
didn't
that's part of
seem
it.
like there was anyone there to help mitigate what was going on, so.
No. And then the result is history, and we get this. But for most people, those things have faded into obscurity. It's like nobody cares about like movies from 1997 that bombed, and it's too bad because there's a powerful lesson about Hollywood in there. And of course, I'm a young person at the time watching it in theaters, and I believe I was with my family or some
I
extended
forgot you
family.
saw it in theaters.
I did during the whole. It was a summer blockbuster, right? You just go to see whatever. And I know that even at a young age, I'm sitting there, and I knew something was wrong. Like
Was off, yeah.
that this is not that something new has emerged here, and we've now experienced like. That this is not just a regular bad movie. We now have we've gone into the a deranged vanity project territory,
Yes.
and to see that happen.
That's like the best way to put it too, really.
Yeah. Well, there's no other word for it, and it's will forever be a part of my life. Demented.
That would fit too.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Want to do some fishing? You have room in your backpack, yeah?
Yeah.
Not really. Actually.
Because you can't see it, but you actually have a second
Oh
layer.
yeah, I forgot. I forgot I had a real backpack now.
Yeah, I even reminded the audience that we were able to get that done at the beginning. Now, we would have invested in a ton of money.
I guess I was just not paying any attention to your intro.
I don't think you were, because you have a backpack. We bought them both. That's okay. Oh, God, that was a tough fish to catch. Hey, Willie's here fishing, too. We can talk to him to gain a little bit of status. But I did think that after what we shared in our last video, that you brought up a good point, that it was like, I don't want it to come off like that was the our shared criticism of a couple of terrible movies from the late 90s and a love of an obscure
Like
comedy.
formed the foundation of our entire relationship.
Yeah, it sounds funny to say that, but that's obviously not the case. But it just to kind of to cement the point that like it was more of a symptom of the way that we would have the same kind of reading on things like that. Because those of you that are listening to this may not notice this, but I stand by my conviction that that as weird as it is, Jessi and I are very similar people, and like we've had the ability to. No, there's a lot, of course, that's very different.
Wait, did you see how much I just went through for this fucking inch-long sardine? Are you joking?
Yeah, I did.
That was like the fight of my life.
I know. I should have said something, but I mean.
But go on. I just had to interject with that.
No, good job. You have to learn how to like kind of feather that button. Like as it goes up, the key is to kind of tap that square to get it into position. But that similarity is, I guess, what I was trying to highlight with telling the story from the last video. And
well, we are both Pisces, but there's some divergence within our charts that makes us very similar yet very different, I think, in some ways.
Yeah, we may
not that our charts dictate everything about us, but I think it is like accurate to our personalities.
Oh, I definitely took advantage of using the full chart for both of us, and while we shared sun signs, we obviously began to deviate a lot with rising and moon and some of our planets. But what I always found interesting about those eras, maybe I took a bigger interest in astrology at the time and have lost some of the audience by saying that's a thing. But that one thing that I remember when plugging it into some of the various astrology machines, when you do to compare two people and like how compatible are they? You know, one of those types of games. Every single one for Jessi and I said that we were a nightmare of a couple and a complete disaster that was never going to work out. I always found that was funny. And even at the time, I remember being nervous about that, going like, it's oddly specific that that we are bad news. And oh, and I lost that fish. Could that be because you know what they say? There's that old cliche that opposites attract. And we're definitely not opposite enough. I mean,
No.
if we both slip into hedonism regularly, and no one wants to work, no one wants to do anything in order to create like a functioning life, you all can see from an audience perspective how that's
well, we could see, you know what, we could see the forest for the trees back even then, because we would be like, well, we're gonna be together forever, but we're gonna like live in a shack,
basically,
and
yeah.
you know, just accept that neither of us had the drive to like be functioning. I don't even know how to put it, but you know, that didn't really matter to us at the time. It was.
I agree. It didn't matter at the time because when you're younger, you can kind of get away with that, right? You know, there's always some other family member or other person that can come and bail you out of whatever problem, and it just leaves you in a perpetual state of childhood, if you will, like a child adult is the better way to put it. You know, and as millennials, you know, maybe we didn't always have the greatest prospects to like immediately pop into some kind of job like our past generations, where you just basically saunter out of high school and you like go talk to this person who then hooks you up with full insurance and like a full-time job and like enough to literally buy a house and all of that. Maybe that's actually a fantasy, and that the boomers didn't have that either, and that's not really how it went down. But it always feels like the people from the past had an easier time than we would have to do that, which is of course like, let's try to find the easiest path toward exploitation. That like, can I just be reasonably exploited into some kind of happy existence of making money? And you have to actually want to delay gratification to do that, right, Jessi? I mean, you can't just will that into existence. At some point, you have to like stop having fun and actually go to work, right?
Yeah, but I mean, also we were like kids pretty much, but
yeah. Young adults is basically a kid. Like, just becoming an adult, I didn't feel like simply because I came of age that that everything made sense. You know, I definitely felt nervousness for all aspects of life, and I didn't really want to face that. It was much easier to, of course. Ooh, I got the cauliflower. Let's keep that in case someone wants that. That seems like a big ticket veg. So when you put all that together, it kind of paints a picture about why two similar hedonistic inability to delay gratification people didn't have it work out in the long term. It probably didn't take that long for it to not work out. I guess we didn't spend and waste a bunch of our lives miserable.
I was with you like all through high school. Okay. I mean, it's not like it fizzled out. Let's just like get that clear.
All right. Okay. All right. I take it back. It actually was a long time. It was many years. So that's true. I guess I'm just saying that like when you get older, what's many years? What are you doing with this? You trying to give me a flower?
Let's go. No, let's go get seeds or something.
Okay. Well, seeds doesn't open until 9 in the morning. We have an hour to go. We can actually stop by and do salmon berries and then go buy seeds.
Okay.
That's something to do.
Where's our cat?
The cat is in my house if you want to pet him. I think he's sleeping. He doesn't like to be woken up.
All right.
But let's make sure we get our endless quantity of salmon berries that I keep picking up in front of you because I'm running ahead of you. I don't mean to hog all the salmon berries. But I guess it's not. As I break that down and explain that, how it how we didn't make it. The silver lining is, of course, that we're here today playing this game and hanging out again, and then I use that to say that it wasn't a complete loss, because here you are. I mean, like, I guess I don't mean to get all teleological about it, but I do assess the quality of any life experience by its end, as opposed to by the journey, which is, of course, wrong.
That's so, like one way we're opposite.
Yeah, okay. And that explains a lot. I think you're right. I can see that being different for you. Here, there's your berry.
But if you want to go your way, look at the end now, as opposed to the end then, because
that's what I was saying.
Where we are now. Yeah,
that was my exact statement. That's why. Okay. That's why I'm happy to be running around Pelican Town with you and getting to remember such a formative and part of my whole life journey. I mean, definitely couldn't have. Not to say that I became this great person, but I couldn't have be where I'm at without the experiences of our past. I know you feel the same way.
I do. So I was gonna say that, but
I'm sorry.
No, it's.
Grab these spring onions. But yeah, so in the end, it is a happy story. Even if we were to really go down through the whole chronological thing, you can expect a Act 2 nadir and an Act 3 tragedy. But we're living in the epilogue right now, and it all seems to be okay. I mean, the 80s outro has gone with the freeze frame and their happy images. For example, we are both now happily married, and not poor, able to play like video games on the internet.
Now we can just play games for fun again without like any
not worrying about the next burrito that you can afford. Right. Say hi to him. Do you think some people are starting to get their way toward the Stardrop Saloon here? Or maybe we're a little early.
It sounds like Sebastian needs a tetanus shot. He cut himself in the cave.
Yeah, he shouldn't even be in there, really. I don't think he was equipped. He probably didn't bring a sword. All right. So because it's raining, our football player's hanging out in here. We do want to make friends with the old family, so I think it was a good idea to run around and do this. But it's 1 o'clock. We said we were going to come back to buy seeds, so let's make sure we stop at Pierre's and do that. We have 9 grand, by the way. Oh,
Wow.
Jody wants a cauliflower. I'm going to accept that.
Don't you have one?
I'm carrying it. We just need to find Jody, and I'll hand it to her. Ooh, I got an event. Did you get an event in here? Yeah, you did.
Yes.
Something is happening now. Welcome to Pierre's. Oh, this could be the Jojo Mart guy. He's going to arrive and then going to...
It looks like it. He's in like a black cloak. Yeah. Or is that a suit? I don't know. I prefer to think of it as a cloak.
Yeah. Well, it was raining, so he needed cloaks are good for that. Okay, so he shows up at the rival business and then starts distributing coupons for his place. That's garbage. Like, that's low.
And then all of these, like, traders just immediately run to him. Right in front of Pierre, shamelessly.
Oh, that's so rude. I can't match those prices. Well, don't worry. We've only given Jojo Mart $75 once to buy that can of cola for Emily.
Okay.
I'm still finishing my spiel. I didn't click through quite as quick as you.
What kind of seeds should I get?
Potato? Yeah, buy like, I don't know, 30 potato seeds.
Okay. How do you like
You
buy
keep
a
pressing.
bunch at once?
Just
You
keep
just
tapping
keep
X.
pressing it?
Yeah, I saw you bought a few. I bought 26. So if you want to get some
Okay,
more.
we're good. I got 16.
And then parsnips take a lot of work, but there are some people who like it. Like Pam loves parsnips. There's a few other people who eat it
Doesn't
regularly.
Shane love parsnips too?
He might. So we're gonna make sure we're gonna get that growing so that you have proper gifts to give to Shane. Actually, wait a second. I'm gonna run back because I think is that Jody up there? Or that's Caroline. That's Pierre's wife. We want to find Jody to hand her this cauliflower. I'm actually carrying it.
Isn't she redheaded?
She is. I got the wrong woman. I'm sorry. This was a green-headed woman. I mean, green-haired.
They're opposite on the color wheel, so...
Yeah. There she is. That's Jody. Hey, you stop. Oh, she's going home to cook dinner for her family. Excuse me, I have this for you. Yes. You brought me an item I asked for. I really appreciate it. Here's your payment as promised. She gave us $500 for that. 525. I'll make sure we cash that in now. Yeah. Oops, I clicked on it. All right, big money. All right, what do you want? You want to fish this river or head to the ocean? We have to plant these too.
Let's go. Well, it's 5. Let's fish for like a little bit, and then we'll go take care of that.
How about some river fishing? You all right over there?
Yeah.
Good. I wonder if because it's raining, the different fish will be biting. Somebody gave me bait too. I believe we can put bait on these things and potentially catch better fish. You probably want to do this till maybe 7 or 8 o'clock and then head back, yeah?
Ooh. Whatever you say, Sten.
Thank you. It was a very aggressive fish that I almost caught.
That sardine was the bar none most aggressive fish I've ever encountered in any game, because like I don't fish in games usually,
Sure.
except I guess Harvest Moon, but
A lot of games it's given as like a shoehorned afterthought like content that like is literally like so that they can say that you can fish and they put that
I'm
on the
talking
back.
about like proprietary, like those 90s like bass like fishing expedition games or
Sure,
whatever.
the whole Bassmaster series. Yeah, those are fun. Okay, that's enough.
Whoops.
You're
cast into the ground, into the earth.
You cast it into me.
Time to go.
Yeah, I'd be picking that hook out of my hat. All right, we're going to plant those seeds and maybe make our way up to the mountain. Because tomorrow we'll make sure we go to the bar. Everybody will be headed to the bar on Friday night, and that way we'll have a good opportunity to distribute gifts and say hello to everybody. There's definitely time to do. Whatever seeds you have, go ahead and get them planted. We don't have to water them because it's raining. The problem is that I know as I set this up, it's going to break like your geometrical like spatial.
I know.
Yeah, because I'm just gonna like throw it randomly and not care, and that might cause a problem.
I'm pissed already.
I was gonna say I'm gonna need to be better about that because whenever I design these types of sandboxes, my preferred design style is known as OCD Nightmare. If you have any kind of like spatial
That
like,
tracks for you. That like extremely tracks for you.
Yeah. I basically.
Are you going to bed?
No, I wanted in here to. I don't know what I'm doing in here. I was gonna go like find some.
Is the cat in here?
Yeah, go wake up the cat. It's considered a style of design where you don't care about uniformity or anything. It's all pure function over form. So, like for example, my 1,000-person prison architect game was designed under the OCD Nightmare, and it looks like just a rat's nest labyrinth of like different places for basically I play a private prison simulator, which I'm sure sounds like something that sounds
to. Yeah.
And I'm the warden, you know, and the goal is to put everybody to work and generate tons of license plates and stuff like that. We'll have
Just like
we'll have
playing out your power fantasies.
Correct, yeah.
I guess.
If I'm not playing out the power fantasy as a prison warden, then I'm doing it in the game that we were sampling last night, which was Papers, Please, the border crossing game, the ultimate power fantasy of saying yes and no to who can cross into communist Arstotzka. Could be good content in the future for those of you who like to watch us play games. There was nothing over here. I don't know why the hell I drove us over here.
What are we doing? I'm just literally following you.
I'm trying to find salmon berries. And I didn't find anything. It feels like salmon berries are done. So we literally just did like a tour for nothing. Let's go see Linus. Ooh, he still lets us in at 11:30 at night. Ooh, he says he uses rain in order to clean himself. Why would he do that?
He's an interesting character.
All he has to do is jump in the river, you know?
Do you know how many, like, parasites and disgusting things are in river water?
No, I don't. I swam in one in my youth that ended up being infected with a strange, like, industrial runoff chemical known as PCB. And so I probably have a bunch of that in my bloodstream. Why don't you go to bed? So hopefully that won't kill me one day, but I know that I've
Don't
had...
say that. I think you're okay.
Yeah, I'm alright
if you haven't
now.
succumbed to it yet.
Yeah, I haven't succumbed to PCB poisoning, but it's it definitely was like a pollutant in my hometown. I can't imagine that that's...
Do you remember when I had to, for science class, test this, like, severely, affected by acid mine drainage creek in my town? And we had to do all kinds... Like, the teacher had us go wade in this creek that it was, like, orange-colored water, and
well, because it was probably mine runoff from where you live.
Yeah, it was acid mine runoff, and
I
literally, well, that morning I had shaved my legs, and since we had to go wading in the water, my legs literally started to, like, bleed, and it was, like, horrifying, and, like, my friend, like, carried me out and was like, this is insane, I'm done. So, if you haven't... So, we've both been exposed to something untoward in, freshwater.
Yeah. I think it's an unfortunate common story for Americans living in our area. But, you know, I've survived so far, so we'll see what happens with that. But it's like, now that you mention that story, I think I remember you telling me at the time, but I didn't have that in memory until you said it, so...
Yeah. It was, like, senior year, so I definitely would have told you about it, like... as it happened.
Yeah.
Hey.
Sounds about right. Hey, should we get... We have 8 grand. Maybe we should go buy some more seeds. I feel like we didn't buy enough seeds.
Okay. We definitely didn't. You don't feel that way. It's just a fact. Look at that.
Look how much room we have.
But, like, the pattern there.
We're gonna fix that. Let's make sure we hit these worms, though. Oh, I found a book. Here, you pick up all that. Okay. 9 o'clock, the store opens, so... What am I doing? Pressing the wrong button. Okay. Now, let's see how much the next backpack costs, because once we buy the next one for 10 grand, then we can carry 3 things. That's going to make mining a lot easier. We want to get rich enough to be able to do that. Let's buy another, like, 20 or 30 potato seeds. feel weird that I explained about swimming in a PCB pond to
And
everybody.
then I like exposed myself with that story about like bleeding in the creek, but it's okay.
Yeah. All I can say is that I think our viewers will have
Neither
hopefully
of us like really ever give personal details
no.
like that. I guess those were some weird anecdotes, but it is what it is.
Yeah, this is uncharted territory for both of us, but hey. Why don't we do a
I'm
little
certainly not gonna edit it out.
No, we'll leave all this in so that you guys get the raw, unfiltered story here. Oops.
So raw.
I always equate the PCB pond disaster from my youth with another thing that I did absentmindedly one time on the phone. I don't know if I was on the phone with you or if it was just like with a random childhood friend, but I happened to be carrying a butter knife that had like lead soldering on it, and then I like randomly like ate it.
I don't think this was. This doesn't seem age appropriate to when we would have been together.
Yeah,
but
I would say now. I think I'm on a different chronology, and basically now I expose to everybody that like that I'm special because I basically gave myself lead poisoning as a young kid. But that
well,
would
Billy
definitely
Corgan claims to suffer from mercury, lead, and arsenic poisoning, so I think has us both beat on that front.
Yeah.
That's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Literally, he gave that detail explaining why he wears high tops, because he claims he suffers from weak ankles due to mercury, lead, and arsenic poisoning over time.
Oh my god. And this person
That
is still
lore
able
is
to
like
create-
hilarious.
Yeah, and obviously, even if that happened to him, which I'm inclined to believe someone when they tell that story.
I'm not well. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but it wouldn't shock me if that were just like some kind of psychological thing with him.
Well, that's a good segue into something that we hadn't brought up yet, which was your music fandom. The audience that's listening to this probably doesn't know, if you just name dropped Billy like that, about your long time
Oh yeah, I was just telling you about like the crazy essay I wrote. Like I didn't realize that wasn't being recorded.
No,
so I'm like thought I was adding on to that, but I just randomly was like, well, Billy Corgan claims that he suffers from all of these maladies.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Then why don't you bring that back? I mean, before we were recording...
I don't want to discuss the essay.
Don't discuss
that was private.
Okay, then I'm glad I wasn't recording that. Okay, then what we can do is provide the tame, easy version to kind of concatenate that story down for anybody who's listening, which is that Jessi is a true, I would say, fan. So what's fan? Short for fanatic. Someone who's like really into something. And you have been following this band since early in your youth, and it has always been a big part of your existence. And like I had different tastes in music growing up and in our youth when we were first together, but I could never match your intensity and the sheer amount of the guy's catalog that you had consumed and understood. Like, what did you say? You have a PhD in there, in understanding these pretty complicated music, I would say. I mean, I don't want to like just call it pop rock, because that's not true. It's like it's really what seems to be its own thing. And I guess I always respected your taste in that, even if I was listening.
Not always.
Well, I know. I like okay, maybe not always.
Young Stan, and it wasn't Boy Hits Car, so it sucked.
Oh, sure.
I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing.
No,
I'm just teasing.
But
did that hit below the belt? Because I'm not trying to critique you.
That does hit below the belt, because like as interesting as that band was, once you see things like that in live, and then you see all the missed notes and musical errors, you begin to lose a little bit of respect.
it's very interesting that like because their like live performance wasn't like technically perfect, you're just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
That's a very Stefan thing.
Yeah, well, it shattered the illusion a little bit, and now it could have been just the problem of the acoustics of the place, but I remember sitting there and well, standing there and, you know, noticing a lot of missed notes and other tempo problems, and that didn't work.
Remember how I saw Bob Dylan when I was like 14?
Oh, no.
And it was the worst show I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh,
I was like,
goodness.
well, he's like a legend, I've gotta go.
That's the big
it was
mistake.
a train wreck.
Yeah,
There were no stakes for me because I personally don't care about Bob Dylan. It was just he came to my town. A lot of people were going. I went, and I was just blown away.
And I can definitely say that you're not the only person that's had that experience. I remember a good friend of mine at work basically said that he had gone to like an old man Bob Dylan concert and had been basically robbed for the money to go to it, and that the guy was like sitting like backwards, like not facing the audience, like in the tiny corner of the stage, like mumbling, you can't even hear anything, and then like other strange requests. So like apparently once you're a living legend, you're allowed to basically do whatever. And that can be a problem now. Maybe there's probably a bunch of Dylan fans that would refute everything I'm saying with that, but because I didn't see it, but you're not.
I don't think they can refute that he sucks live. I mean, that's gaslighting if they try.
Okay.
Everyone knows.
Good.
But we had some similar intersecting taste in music even then. Tool.
For example, yes, definitely Tool. And I'm not sure what else, but I,
Is that it? I'm like, in my mind there was more, but...
no, I think we listened to some Floyd together.
Yeah.
But who doesn't?
Sure did.
Yeah. I can say though that the fault would have been on my end. Jessi would have been much more open to learning and understanding different music than I was. I think that I, you know, taking that typical arrogant position of like, I'm only my atonal cacophony is actually great because everything else is commercial and I cannot be constrained by the market forces of music that generates music for profit only, and I'm too awesome for that. And since then I have totally lost that position. I'll even enjoy the pop music because, like I was saying before to you, that saying you don't like pop music is like saying you don't like candy. Ooh, I'll take that. Thank you. So I've grown a lot since then, and that's definitely one of, I would say, quite the regret that I wasn't more open into learning of your music. Because when you share it with me now, it's terrific. You know,
you're making up for it now. Did you listen to the entire Shana album?
Yeah. Everything you've shared.
What did you think psychologically about that? Because that... I mean, I told you, the audience is going to have absolutely no context for this, but,
Okay. We can give them a little. I mean, Shana, however you want to say it, was some type of 80s pop...
like obscure 80s pop songstress.
Yes.
And
but
the one album,
40, right?
I don't know statistically.
Okay.
But nobody, like, I don't think if you name dropped her, people would know. And the album is just like a psychological portrait of like a woman gone mad with like desire for some guy. I don't know. It's like very stalkery. Yes. And it seems to like escalate throughout as the album goes on.
Yeah,
Are you?
I'm planning
Okay, I
everything.
can hardly see, but
It's totally dark because it's almost too late, but there is enough time for you to water all of that. The themes of this album are, I would agree with Jessi in saying that it is stalkery or obsessive, and
yes, very obsessive.
perhaps people were more romantic in that era and willing to go that far into the into the what we say the abyss of the other, which is of course like completely burying yourself in thoughts of another person and where they dominate your mind and thought. Now, I guess I can have some experience with that, even with you as a in our youth, in the kind of almost obsessive nature of our relationship at the time, but to hear it externally and to hear, oh, you are exhausted, we gotta go to bed. I think you totally ran out of energy, and so did I. So to hear it externally,
We got
rather than
500 gold from Grandpa.
nice. Now you still have just enough time to wander in there, and we'll be able to get some sleep. We may have to just put a link in the description. The video.
Yes, we will put a link down below if anyone wants to check this out for themselves.
Yeah. It's a hilarious video of like an Italian DJ, and it's like a video. It's like almost a bootleg of like a guy recording, turning on a tape deck, not a tape deck. Sorry,
a turntable.
A turntable is what I meant to say. And you can actually see the guy's hand come out, and then he just starts it. And
that's like the only way I could like figure out how to share that. It's like not on streaming. I think it is on, or it was at one point on Apple Music, because that's how I have the album. But okay. Yeah, surprisingly difficult to find on YouTube.
Well, it's because she didn't seem to be a pop star for very long. When I looked her up and did some just cursory, like Wikipedia-style basic research of it, it looked like she had left the industry for a very long time and then made like a brief foray or comeback, like in the 2010s or something, and then faded away.
Did she?
Again. Yeah, I think there was something in there with that.
Is she American?
Oh, I don't remember anymore. Her accent sounds American.
Yeah.
We'll have to leave the audience to determine that one. But the musically, when you're talking about like that stereotypical or prototypical, I should say, 80s sound, the beat and the synth.
It's right on the nose for that.
Absolutely,
like it's
right on the nose.
Textbook.
We're talking like looping 4 bars of like it might as well. There were a few times where I'm like, this is starting to remind me of Hulk Hogan and the Wrestling Boot Band. Like, there's a few of the songs that are starting to be like, we're kind of almost slipping into like the Beach Patrol here with the looping 4 bars and the melody being like so quick and simple.
That's another cultural phenomenon that just blew us away back then.
Oh, yeah, the
Hulk Hogan, yeah.
I will never forget that, and I have permanently left that as part of my thoughts since you have shown me the poor boy that died, and then Hulk Hogan having to sing a ballad about like that the kid is the kid is
bizarre,
gone.
like just utterly bizarre. That's the kind of shit I like, though, I guess.
Well, it's things like that I would have never found without your help, and it's the you were the gift that kept on giving in the terms of even after we were no longer part of one's life. I always had Hulkster in heaven that I could.
Yeah. We'll always have Hulkster in heaven.
But why I bring that up with Shana is that they have a similar sound, all right? Like, and you have to...
I guess just shitty 80s synth music. That's like kind of a broad.
Exactly, but they all of those 80s synth have that same type of really static beat, and like they're it does follow the the normal format of like a refrain and then a verse.
Then you're looking too into the analytics and not into like how batshit crazy and dangerous this woman seemed based on the lyrical content of this this work. That's what I'm trying to like bait you to talk about, and you're like, oh well, it's like a 4-count like beat of or whatever. Like,
that's of course how I view that, because you remember I was a musician for so many years. I guess it's important to tell the audience that I was an oboe player in my youth, and kept that up for quite some time. I still play the recorder, right in tune with Clifford.
Can you play the theme?
Can I play the Clifford theme? No, I don't think there's enough octaves for me to be able to control that. But what I could play is, 4 looping bars of Hulk Hogan or Shana. Like that, something like that that's just 1 octave is okay, because otherwise you have to cover the bottom half, like do the half thumb stuff and really blow it at a bizarre thing. It doesn't have the same range as an oboe. And I don't have an oboe anymore because they're bloody expensive. I always rented it, so. But you're right. I dodged around the actual elephant in the room, which was the content of this music, and turned it into something of a lesson in music theory, which is really not the selling point if any of you try to actually listen to this. The batshit craziness that Jessi's referencing is the ultimate theme in it. But, from the male gaze perspective, I guess I to me, it isn't weird. It's like, it's more like the masculine fantasy that there would be a woman this obsessed with their potential lover or something like that. However, there is a kind of a current of anxiety.
Her obsession literally is like delusional. It's like Fatal Attraction, like, do you want that or something a little more tempered?
I would say that if we're speaking of from the sense of the gaze, then yes, you do want that.
You want like a bunny boiler.
Yeah, you want the absolute insanity. And
that must be why you liked me so much.
Yeah, I would say that was a part of it. I mean,
I wouldn't say I'm a bunny boiler, but like,
okay. Yeah, I guess this does hit close to home. Sorry, I messed up my character, but it does hit close to home because of all teenagers are sort of like that, and are they though, or was that an us problem?
I don't know.
We don't know.
I just always assumed,
Well, we have no frame of reference.
That teenage love was obsessive.
I think so. I think especially for your first time, which just so now we're getting into some weird Uncharted territory. But of course, Jessi wasn't my first for me to engage in that. I had
What are we talking about engaging in? I'm talking about
engaging in
just being in a relationship. Oh, okay.
Obsessive, compulsive, codependent, over the top love of a young person who doesn't understand how to temper that into something coherent and healthy for all involved. I guess I'm referring to the old like propaganda, like PSA video that you might see like as an ad maybe 10 years ago or 5, where like the boyfriend is suddenly turned into like an anthropomorphized cell phone that's screaming at the other person.
You weren't like that.
I don't think I was like that.
You weren't like that.
But as a caricature, it's worth saying that I flirted with those notions. I mean, anytime you're like expecting the other to check in as if you're like guaranteed by default to hang out and talk, and then if something comes up that prevents that, you're always putting a little bit of a burden on the other person. And I probably did that a bunch, but whenever this has come up in conversation for us going over this historically, I guess it's worth saying that, like, you were a willing participant in all of that, so I therefore wasn't,
You weren't, like, you weren't Shana, for fuck's sake. I mean, like, dude, come on. Let's not liken you to that. We were like in a consensual, loving relationship, not some like hiding behind the bushes, watching some guy that doesn't know you exist or whatever.
But maybe that's your reading of her. Like, I don't know that I read her album in the
You
exact
take a very
same way.
softened reading. I get like serious red flags.
Oh,
But
no, mine is.
I
mine is
like it.
definitely
I
soft.
like her. It's just, yikes, that's a bit much.
Then what it is I am tainted by the male gaze when listening to it.
Maybe I just resent it because I identify some of my own.
Oh, you might be onto something when you say that. Yeah, I guess that's probably...
Proclivities within.
Yep. Okay, then that's got to be the source of the different reading. Ooh, I fished up a can of cola. Because, like I said, from that gaze perspective, it's actually, I don't know, for lack of a better term, hot that someone that is that excited for these types of things. I guess that is the ultimate male fantasy. Then that someone would be that interested. So for me, I would say that no major red flags appeared for that. Just more like, wow, this is what real love sounds like.
I think I think you might want to
go back.
Find a middle ground there.
No, you're probably right. I mean, you know it better than me, but it's that's at least how I would look at that, because but it could also just be a product of the time that's sort of how female heartthrobs were marketed to people at the time. I mean, like it's I think that's, if they're trying to sell that to males, then of course they should be upselling the obsessive compulsive.
They're not selling it to males, Stefan. That's the thing. I feel like Britney, I think it's women are the primary consumers. It's not to say that it's like completely gendered and like men aren't into it at all, but I would think that like young women are the target that...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, that would make sense for I guess I'm a pop neophyte, so I don't I don't know exactly
how
Shana's
not put out there for men to be listening to that. Yeah, I would not say that at all.
Oh my god.
That's funny.
Well, I don't know. Like I mean, all I know is from the way that I consumed it, and I would say that from that angle,
you were fucking loving it. So
yeah, I had a great time. And and that was just the tip of the iceberg, of course. That's just what we've recently shared. But...
Well, that's that's one of your great points, is that you will enthusiastically check out suggestions and report back with a full just come back and give me a complete rundown of your opinion on every aspect of it. And not many people do that for their friends.
Oh, I think I did that back in the... I'd like to think I did that back in the day.
Yeah.
I definitely do that again with you, because of course I'm happy to have an opportunity to reconnect with you and all that. But yeah, I guess that's just how I just go all in, if I care about someone's opinion and I respect their taste in something, then I'm chomping at the bit to see whatever they recommend. And of course, ooh, give a cave carrot. We don't have that. So yeah, that's always been what I want to do, and that's another reason why playing these games these days is going to be fun, because there's a bunch of things that you have played and experienced that I haven't, and I want to learn all about it. Hey, let's sell some of this stuff.
In all of the Shana talk, I failed to mention that Shane pretty much told me to fuck off again back at the bar.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I tried to give him a fish and he got upset.
Oh, he doesn't like fish. I think I tried to give
I didn't have anything else, and I just...
Oh, you know what? When they don't like you, it costs more. I keep messing up my hot bar, so I'm trying to fix this. If you have any energy left, you don't. We're pretty much exhausted.
I'm done.
Yeah, we can go to bed. What do you think, Jessi? One more day, or should we call it here?
I could go either way, so
Okay. We will do our
I
last
think we should.
day.
I think. Okay, I was gonna say I think we should call it, but
Okay. All right.
I'm done.
Okay. We're done. This is a good stopping point. We'll have to. We definitely will have to go a little bit deeper into music later because I think there's a lot more that we needed to be sharing about your current fandom and your current, like, to me, I have you pegged as like an important figure in the fandom for the bands that you follow, as like that you draw a lot of water in that community, and I want to brag about that a little bit in these videos.
That is nothing to brag about, but I'll take it as a compliment.
Well, I think you have a reputation as a true connoisseur, and that's why we're definitely going to have to reference your other project in your podcast at some point for anybody who needs further reading into.
We can link it in the description down below.
Yeah, well, sure, and so we shall. But on that note, so before we start the next day, let's call it there and say goodbye to all of our viewers and listeners. If you enjoyed this, help the channel grow, like, subscribe, all of that. If you don't like doing that, then just click on it another time and you can hear us explain our spiel. I don't care either way. That's not a ringing endorsement. No, you probably should hit like. I'm sorry. Help me out.
If you want us to get back together, please like, share, and subscribe.
Okay. Yes. On that note, thank you and goodbye.
Bye.